Rasul, Khatam Nabiyyin sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. I give open and sound witness nothing is worthy of worship except Allah is one alone, without partners or associates. And I also give open and sound witness that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is a slave servant messenger and seal of the prophets. Peace be upon the Prophet, upon his descendants, upon his companions, and upon the righteous throughout the world. And peace be unto you. Assalamu alaikum. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. It is all the praise due to Allah, the evolver of all things in existence, the evolver of all systems of knowledge. We're forever thankful to Allah, highly glorified is He for allowing us once again to unite for this wonderful moment in our lives, so that the Jumu'ah by which we come to seek His aid, to seek His mercy, and to beg for His forgiveness. We know that Allah, highly glorified is He, tells us in the Quran that He is the merciful benefactor, the merciful redeemer. And that is the most prevalent attribute. In fact, He says that His mercy exceeds His punishment. And He tells us that had it not been for His mercy, none of us would be in existence. This is very important for us to understand how merciful Allah is. So we beg for His mercy. We don't want His justice, we want His mercy. And He says over and over again throughout this illustrious book called Quran that He'll allow us to have another start. See? If Allah was to judge us by what we did, we might be in a bad situation. Or if He was to punish us for everything we did, our lives may be a little different than what it is today. So we thank Him for mercy. We thank Him for forgiveness. We made our journey, alhamdulillah, through the blessed month of Ramadan. We made that journey. It was a journey of struggle, internal struggle. And the very purpose of that journey, of that struggle, was to increase taqwa, this regard for Allah, this awareness of this relationship that we should have with Him, and then the proper relationship we should have with His creation. See, when we have a high regard for Allah, we will have a high regard for His creation. Even the things we don't understand, the parts of creation that we don't understand its purpose, we have great respect. This is why even during battle time, cutting trees, killing plants, the Prophet Muhammad would forbid the believers from doing that, because you lose the very understanding of what that plant life represents. See, the reverence for Allah, the regard for Allah, the relationship you have with Him influences the relationship you have with all of His creation. So when you understand that your life is dependent upon that plant life, you take in from the plant life, and then when you breathe out, you give for the advancement of that plant life. So when you understand the purpose of creation, you have a regard for that plant life, because you understand that when Allah created that plant, He created that plant with purpose. So taqwa is this reverence for Allah, and then that reverence for Allah is seen in how we have reverence for His creation, each other, the elements, sun, moon, star, everything has purpose, everything has value. We talked last time about this biblical verse that said that you are the salt of the earth. And we talked about what salt does in terms of preserving meats. They put salt on meats to keep the meat from being affected by bacteria. So the verse says, and you are the salt. And if you understand the power of salt, it is a preserving force. That is the position of the one who has taqwa, where Allah says He's the mutaki, or the mutakin plural. He has this reverence for Allah, so now He is a protecting force. He's moving in creation as one who understands that he has to work to preserve the sacredness of life. He preserved the value of that life. So he can't be abusive. If he has this awareness for Allah, this high respect for Allah, he cannot or she cannot see themselves as abusers. My position as a mutaqin, as a mutaqi, is to preserve the life. We work to preserve the life because the life has purpose. That's what I want to leave you with today. And because the life has purpose, it has value and meaning. So as we work to serve Allah, we work to what? Preserve His creation. In fact, the first law of nature says is self-preservation. That everything in creation is working to preserve itself. That's the first law of nature. As that you work to preserve your own life. That's why, you know, a person pick up a cigarette for the very first time, and they pull on that cigarette, their body reacts to it. Because the body sees it as a foreign element coming to destroy that life. So the mechanism Allah put in your very creation, it resists abuse. So when the person puffs the cigarette, they gasp because this is a foreign element. This is a natural body. This is a refined system that has to be strong to function. So when you breathe in those toxins, the body fights it off with a almost choke. And you have to become conditioned to begin to pull on a cigarette with what some may call ease. Because the body naturally fights off those foreign elements that work to break it down. So as we journey through Ramadan, we journey with the mindset of growing in taqwa. And Allah says, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ, that this is the book. In it is guidance, sure without doubt, no question, to those who are conscious of Allah. So here's the verse. Allah says, so be conscious of Allah and keep your duty to Allah as much as you can. And He don't obey and spend. It is better for your soul. And whoever is saved from the greediness of his souls, these it is that are successful. This verse begins with taqwa. And be regardful of your duty to Allah. And be conscious of Him as much as you can. See, Allah knows it's challenging. With all the distractions in the world, Allah already knows. It's going to be challenging for the human being to remain constantly focused on. But He says, in His mercy, and be conscious of Him and keep your duty to Him as much as you can. You see how merciful Allah is? That He's not going to burden you. He said, I know it's tough. I know there's major distractions in the world, but as much as you can, you're working, you're engaged in life, you're doing battle in society, you got health challenges, you got economical challenges. Allah says, and be conscious of Him and keep your duty as much as you can. See, that's merciful right there. He knows His creation, He knows His servant, and all I want you to do is to do your best as much as you can. So here's the idea. The ideal, Allah says, as we struggle in life, as we move in life, He says, remain focused, but He wants us to understand that He realized time's going to be tough. And Shaitan is constantly working. And sometimes we forget that you have an enemy that's working to destroy you 24/7. Every day of your life. Shaitan and his friends are working to distract you. That's why even in the journey of establishing the Islamic life, and the battles and the distractions and the migration and moving from one point to another until the believers and the leadership of Muhammad the Prophet was able to be strong, the Prophet said from this point on, no more running. Taqwa wa jihad. Consciousness of Allah and struggling in His cause. That we have to constant be in a frame of mind that you know your life must be engaged in struggle, because without struggle, you won't express your highest aspirations. Because without struggle, there's ease. And when there's ease, you're not exerting yourself. See, jihad means that you're exerting and using yourself up. That's jihad. And jihad is about working to establish the environment that is best suited for life to grow. Without struggle, we're going to be overwhelmed with problems. Because without struggle, you're not working against your opposing forces. But with struggle, you're working to establish the life. So Allah says, and keep your duty to Him and be conscious of Him as much as you can. Adhere and obey. See, who you listening to? That's the next question. Who you listening to? In the struggles and journey of life, people need to be heard. And when people are heard, they feel valued. They feel worth something. People got all kinds of challenges. They need someone just to listen to them. That's why you find all over the country, all over the world, there's all kind of organizations. All kind of organizations that just allow people to express themselves because they understand the value that the human being needs to be heard. You don't have to say anything. But I just need to know someone would hear me, hear my pain, hear my cries. They would empathize. They would feel with me. That people just need to be heard. And we have to be conscious enough that we have to hear them. But the verse says, and hear and obey. Here's the point I want to get to. Obey. Who you're listening to and who you obeying. See, because obedience can be a very destructive force if it's not used properly. Slaves are made because people are conditioned just to obey. In fact, Sprite has a commercial. And the commercial been going on and on for years, and the commercial says, obey your thirst. So you have to understand that thirst can be manufactured, thirst can be created, thirst can be produced unnaturally. So who you listening to? Because if you're not listening to the wrong people and you're obeying the wrong people, those people can turn you into a slave. See, if you just obey thirst, that means you just obey an appetite. And Ramadan taught us that we just don't have to give in to appetite. Ramadan taught us that we have the power to resist. And if you understand your power to resist, that's how people are turned into slaves. That's why I love our great freedom fighter, Malik El-Shabazz, and he talked about the slave. And he said, you just didn't have a slave, but there was a slave-making system. There was a system already set in place that would produce a slave like you produce a car from an assembly line. You manufacture slaves. Because they just get people into the habit of just saying yes. They get people in the habit of just obeying blindly. That's why I said, so who you listening to? So if you're not listening to the right people, then those people can produce slaves. That's what we see all through society. Slaves who are addicted to not just servitude of a person, but they're addicted to drugs. We got slaves right now in 2015. Not chattel slavery. Not where your hands and feet are shackled, but when your mind and your spirit is locked up. Your mind and your spirit is in bondage. You're not free enough to even speak up for yourself. That's a slave. Because the slave has been broken down, his will has been broken where he will not resist. That's why Ramadan was so significant, because it built up the will to not obey oppression. It built up the will where you was able to say la, and you understood what la meant. It meant no. So that's how you begin your faith. You don't accept your faith because somebody made you feel good with a talk. You accept your faith based on reasoning. It makes sense. When I heard the declaration, when I heard those words, it made sense. Because the word first began, the declaration first began with la. Imam Muhammad said that, Imam Muhammad said, when we make that declaration, we become an active protester. When you say la, no, you become a protester fighting against anything that can weigh you down and eventually wipe you out. Wipe you out emotionally, wipe you out spiritually, wipe you out intellectually, wipe you out financially, wipe you out in all sense of the word. So when they say obey your thirst, that means don't do a whole lot of thinking, just give in. An appetite, thirst, and drives can be manufactured. People spend big time and big money studying human nature. Studying how does this human being operate. And once they study and figure out how this human being operate, then they work to manipulate that human being. Because they work to motivate that human being by giving them enough reasons to move. See, if you give a human being strong enough reasons, they'll move. That's what moves people. People are moved by reasons. Allah gives us all the reasons in the world why we should follow his way. Why we should hear and obey Muhammad the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then Allah says in the Quran also that obey Allah, his messenger, and those charged with authority among you. We have to obey. That's how we're going to build. That means we're in a position to follow. We're in a position to be organized. You're obeying the truth because the truth is working to organize people to build community life. To work in the path and the cause of Allah. So it says that you hear, obey, and that you spend. And that the spending benefits your soul. You understand how powerful it is? We start talking about Zakat and what Zakat actually means. That it means to increase. It means to purify. I remember Imam A.K. Muhammad shared with us, he said that charity is a social necessity. Now, I want you to think about that. The Zakat means to purify, it means to grow, it means to increase. Charity is a social necessity. Now, when you think about necessity, it's something you can't do without. If I think of the human body, what's necessary, what's essential, what's vital, this is a necessity. What's vital for the function of the human body is a number of things, but it can't function but so long without water. See, it's vital. Water is a necessity for the actual functionality of the human body. If the body lacks water, then oxygen doesn't go to the brain. If the body is lacking water, then there's stagnation. You're going to be sluggish. Water is necessary for the human body to function effectively. Now think about Zakat. Think about how Zakat is necessary. When you understand what Zakat does in the scheme of the world, not just you giving a couple dollars to the masjid. That's one part of your giving, which is a very essential part, because that part allows the masjid to be strong enough as a body to treat those ailing human beings. See, the people come to the masjid because they're hurting. They're hurting emotionally, they're hurting physically, they're hurting financially, so they come to the masjid to be serviced just like you go to the hospital. People go to the hospital because they're in pain. And they want someone to look after their pain. They want someone to service them. So the means and the resource you give to the masjid, it allows the masjid to be strong enough as a body to serve those ailing members. And when the masjid doesn't have what it needs to serve those ailing members, then the masjid becomes weak in its ability to serve the masses. So Zakat is a social necessity, because it has been designed to make you feel for another human being. See, if Allah didn't give us Zakat, don't you know how cold human beings would be? I'm not talking about give it to you as an institution, but He clocked it in your own nature. Zakat is already in your soul. If Allah didn't put that in your soul, you have a cold and callous world. People wouldn't care. The society would be numb. So Allah put Zakat in your soul, the spirit of Zakat, so you can feel for another human being. That it would bother you. It would disturb you when you see deprived people. People who don't have. People have been abused and neglected. It would bother you. So Allah put that in your soul. And without that, without this spirit of charity, understanding it is a social necessity, we're going to have a very dysfunctional world. And if you look and you study the world and study people, you'll see that those who abuse are cold-hearted people. You can't abuse people. You can't take greatly advantage of people, injure people, and Zakat is in your heart. Zakat means I feel the pain of another person. So Zakat is a social necessity. So Allah says, it is better for your soul. There's another verse in Quran where Allah says that you give to strengthen your soul. You see what Zakat is doing for your life? Not just what it's doing for the other person, what it's doing for you. That when you give, it purifies your soul. That when you give, it allows you to remove yourself from being stingy, from being selfish. You can't properly serve Allah and you're selfish. He put that in as one of the primary principles of Al-Islam. Zakat. In fact, it is an obligation. So how big that you feel is more than you giving a couple dollars, but the big sense is that you feel for another human being. Because the Quran says that in their wealth, the beggars and the needy have a right. You know why the beggars and the needy have a right? Because it don't belong to you. It's just in our trust. Whatever we have, Allah is the provider, whatever we have, is only a trust. It's only in our possession as a means of service. In fact, Allah said, He give you these things also to try you. Now, unfortunately, in America, probably many parts of the world, they've made begging a profession. They've done research, they've done reports where people would get on the trains in New York and ride up and down the trains and beg, and when they left the train, they lived a lavish life. When they left the train, they lived better than you. They made $200, $300, $400 a day just begging. They made begging a profession. Now, our whole purpose of giving is to build the individual up enough so they can do for themselves. Can't be a ongoing process. They beg so much in America. I remember before they would ask, you got any change? Now they come boldly say, do you have $1? Well, you got no change. In fact, they tell you what they want. One guy asked me today, he said, look, you got $1? I said, I went in my pocket and gave him the change I had. He looked at the change I gave him. I said, now, you don't want that? I said, give my change back. In other words, see, he's going to place a demand on me as to what I give him because they've made begging a profession. It's not that I really need this. I'm telling you what I want from you. And if I move around all day long and get this dollar and that, I got $20, $30, $40. Here's a day's income from begging and do it every single day. So we give enough just to build a person up. That's why I don't give much money to people on the show. So in fact, I take you to get you something to eat. And one guy told me, I don't want nothing to eat. I said, then you don't want my money. See, because you ready to go get high. You ain't ready to eat. I don't want nothing to drink. I said, I buy you coffee, but I don't want nothing. I said, now see, if he was smart, he would take what I'm going to give him, get something to drink, get the orange juice I'm going to get him, and then get somebody else with something else. But no. He want to play game because they made begging a profession. I'm saying I want to give to feed you, give you some nutrients. I don't want to help you put no death in your body. But Allah said the beggar, and you have to read people. See, today you got to be real sharp. You got to read people. And most of you are, you understand that. You read people, you can see if people really want your money to eat or they want your money to get high or play games. We have to value our resources because our resources are used to build people up. Help put some nutrients in your body so you can get out your depressive state. That's part of what depression does. It robs you of the nutrients in your body. So I want to put some nutrition in your body to help you get out that stuck state you may be in. So we give because we understand the power of giving. Now here's a hadith that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ shared with us. And it's powerful, shows how Allah blesses us for our giving. He said, any Muslim who plants a tree gains the reward of giving charity. What is eaten from it is charity. What is stolen from it is charity. What the animals eat and what the birds eat is charity. Anyone or anything that takes from that tree earns for the planter the reward of giving in charity. See how powerful it is? Now, it said for the person who steals from that tree. I remember before growing up, a person would really do something to somebody who took something off their tree. Now, I believe that if a person takes something off your tree, I believe they need that. If a person take an apple from your tree, don't you think they need that? So much that through the Prophet Allah said that the person who plants a tree and a person steals from it, that person will be given charity. The reward of charity, because they provided the means for that person to get some substance. So whoever takes from the tree, whatever animal eats from the tree, whatever the bird takes from the tree, Allah said He will bless us with the reward of charity. So here's the reasons why we should be doing good. Here's the reason why we should be giving more. Because you're going to be helping people, and Allah, highly glorified to see, is going to reward you. What I've been there for doing hasanati, what fil akhirati hasanati, what you can do. Assalamu alaikum. So in all our giving, one of the things we have to be conscious of is that in having the ability to give, it means that we have something to be thankful for. So much that the Prophet, peace be upon him, says, do not look up to those who are more advanced than you, but look down to those who are less fortunate than you. By chance, you may appreciate what Allah has given you. That's heavy right there. Because sometimes we get into looking at those who have more, and it allows some to feel inadequate, hoping that I have what they have. So they feel a little inadequate, feel a little less than, feel a little less fortunate. But the way you solve that is the Prophet said, look down to those who are less fortunate. You've heard the story about the man who didn't like his shoes. He's very uncomfortable with his shoe. He didn't like his shoes. Feet hurt in his shoe. He had that problem with his shoes until he looked at a man who had no feet. And when he saw the man who had no feet, he said, these shoes ain't that bad. Because now I have something to be thankful for in comparison. So we have something to give, we have something to be thankful for. And that's the key right here. In our giving, we have something to be thankful for. And Allah placed us on the earth to produce so that we can give. Because everything in creation is given. The sun is given, the rain is given, the moon is given. Everything in creation is giving. We talked about that plant light. That plant light is given the oxygen that you breathe in, right? That plant is given, we said that Zakat was a social necessity. That plant is necessary for your life. Because it's giving what you're breathing in. And then you are necessary for the plant life, because once you take in the oxygen, you breathe out the carbon monoxide that keep the plant going. Showing us how everything in the creation is connected. And you are connected to Allah's creation. So he said the beggars have a right, right? But Muhammad the Prophet said that no descendant of Adam can enjoy a better meal than the one he earned with his own hands. See, there's no dignity in the begging. There's no dignity. I'm talking about continuously begging. It robs you of your respect and dignity. That's why this encouraging hadith said, there's no meal better than the one that you earn with your own hands. Allah produced you to work, because there's dignity and respect in work, and through work you release the potential Allah gave you. Through work you begin to discover your worth as a human being. If you ain't working, you ain't gonna never know your worth. You're never gonna know your potential. So through work, your potential is exposed. Through work, you learn about yourself. So zakat is a social necessity. All of us got something to give. Encouraging words, not only money, if you loan money, encouraging words, good spirit. Because the Prophet Muhammad said that every act of kindness is a sadaqah. You know what a sadaqah is? Now, a sadaqah is a giving, but it's not obligatory. Sadaqah that you give, there's no mandate, there's no established law that says you must give. Imam Muhammad teaches us that sadaqah is following the natural impulses of your heart. So your heart, I feel, comes from the word Siddiq. His heart, truthfulness. My heart says I should lend you a hand. That's what my heart said. Nobody told me. I wouldn't mandate it. It's not a stat. But this, I feel for you. So I extend myself. So zakat is a social necessity, and we have to put ourselves in a position where we can give more. We can work, we can produce, we can give more, and recognize that Allah says, and enter you among my devoted workers, enter you into my paradise. Paradise is for the workers. Peace be unto you. Assalamu alaikum.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah.